A long time ago, on the outskirts of a small town, there stood an old, abandoned house that had recently become the subject of eerie legends. It loomed over the area like a dark guardian with a crumbling facade and shattered windows that warned passers-by to stay away. The locals swore that strange sounds emanated from the house at night, whispers, creaks, and sudden thuds. They said that the house seemed alive, changing rooms, corridors, and even doors whenever someone tried to leave. Many who ventured inside seeking thrills never returned, vanishing without a trace, as if swallowed by shadows. One evening, a group of teenagers, captivated by the mystery and craving adrenaline, decided to document their exploration on video. The group included 4 friends: Jake, the charismatic leader who was always looking for adventure; Ethan, the rational cameraman who prided himself on his logic; Emma, brave yet impulsive, driven by an insatiable desire for the truth; and Lily, the voice of reason, who often cautioned them but could never turn down a challenge. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" Lily asked nervously, glancing at her friends as they stood in the shadow of the ominous house. The sun had already set, and the last light of day painted the sky in deep purples and reds. "Come on, Lil," Jake grinned. "We're going to be legends. Just imagine how many views this video will get." Ethan raised the camera and adjusted it. "Let's just be smart. We stick together, don't split up, and if anything goes wrong, we get out of here fast." Emma pushed the creaking door open, and they stepped inside. The stale air hit their faces, saturated with the scent of mold and something old, almost metallic. The hallway was narrow, with faded wallpaper peeling like old skin, and the wooden floorboards groaned under their weight. Their flashlights cut through the darkness, casting long, flickering shadows. The deeper they went, the more it felt as if the house was changing. What had once been a straight hallway now expanded into a vast room with a stone fireplace. Above it hung an oil painting of a grim-looking man with cold, dead eyes that seemed to follow them. Emma shuddered, a chill running down her spine. "Hey, there was a hallway here," Lily said, her voice trembling as she turned around. But where the hallway had been, there was now a closed door with an iron handle. "It's just a trick of the light," Jake said, though he sounded less confident. He pushed the handle and opened the door, revealing a room they hadn't seen before. The walls were covered in strange drawings, symbols and figures that seemed to move when looked at directly. "This isn't funny anymore," Ethan muttered, gripping the camera tighter. "We need to film this," Emma said firmly, and stepped further into the room, with the others reluctantly following her. The door slammed shut behind them, echoing like a gunshot. "This is no joke," Jake whispered. He rushed to the door, but it wouldn't budge. The handle was icy, and an unfamiliar dread grew in his chest. Suddenly, a low whisper filled the room, like a choir of distant voices. The friends exchanged panicked glances, and Lily's eyes widened with fear. "We need to get out," she said. Ethan aimed the camera at the walls, capturing the drawings that now glowed faintly with a sinister light. "Look at this," he whispered, his voice shaking. Before anyone could respond, the floor beneath them started shifting, like the deck of a ship caught in a storm. They staggered, falling into a new corridor that hadn't been there a moment before. As they got up, Jake looked around. "Where's Emma?" His voice cracked with panic, but only the hollow echo of his own voice answered him. Emma, now alone, found herself in a narrow passage lit by a dim, flickering glow. Her pulse quickened, as she realized the walls were closing in, forcing her to move forward. "Guys?" she called, but her voice was swallowed by the oppressive silence. Her flashlight flickered, and she caught a glimpse of shadowy figures moving at the edge of her vision. Meanwhile, the others were growing more frantic. Lily was on the verge of tears. "We're trapped," she whispered. "Stay calm," Ethan said, though his fear was evident. He pointed the camera, capturing faces that appeared on the walls, distorted, grinning, and disappearing, leaving behind an eerie trace. Suddenly, at the end of the corridor, a door creaked open, and Emma appeared, pale and terrified. "We need to go," she gasped, her eyes wide with horror. But before they could move, a shadow detached itself from the darkness and lunged at them. The camera fell from Ethan's hands, and chaos erupted. Screams, the sound of running, walls transforming into a maze. Moments or hours later, silence fell. The house stood still, as if nothing had happened. Only one figure stumbled out onto the lawn. Ethan, gasping and clutching the camera to his chest. He looked back, but the house stood silent and unyielding, its secrets untouched. All that remained was the video Ethan had managed to capture, the only evidence of how the house changed rooms, devoured friends, and swallowed them forever.